Susan.
Oh, amps with fiddle. Yes.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, where Sean has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button, folks. Hit it right now. It costs you nothing. Hit that like button. Welcome to the post-show stream. Summer is over. And we are going to fall back again. Fall back again. Okay. And that's where we're at right now. Okay. It is winter's almost cold. Right. Let's see. So thank you guys for joining the post-show stream. Looks like Craig had to go to work. But Craig says, what a great solid show, sequel to last night's blockbuster at the Bowl. I'm going to say it again, that Billy's Rivals Watchtower, That was night 2 at the Gorge. That two-step closer was hot. Yep. And Craig is over in the UK. He said he likes Samurai Cop as the opening. We'll talk about this, Judy. Thank you for joining. Can we please keep her? We'll talk about that in just a moment. Hines says, I thought this one was lackluster as well. And he goes on to say, again, it comes down to what Dave wants to do. It has nothing to do with our fans. This show will be lucky to be top 30. So let's start off with this, okay? This Hollywood Bowl run, there's two different factors or two different vantage points of this run. The first is the spirit of the fiddle. This instrument, the violin, came out in such a special way with other strings that really shook the Dave Matthews Band world yet again this year at the Hollywood Bowl, being more impactful than 2018 at the Hollywood Bowl. Now, why was 2022 bigger than 2018? It simply comes down to the fact that we have an individual violin player, Anne Marie Simpson. And I apologize, Anne, if you're watching this or if you saw last night, I did not realize that Anne had divorced, or there was a divorce or separation with her and Brian Calhoun, who's the owner of Rockbridge Guitars. And she has since gotten married again to Mike Inninger of Incubus. But she was the single standout fiddle within a support group, with the support group of string instruments and some other instruments throughout this week, throughout this two-night stand this week. And what that did is it brought us closer emotionally to this idea of a violin player being full-time, being part-time, being something time to the Dave Matthews Band. That's the first part, okay? That alone is going to make it where some people are going to look away from this set list and not worry about a Samurai Cop opener, which to me is not a way you close out a night 2 of any set. Okay, you don't have Louisiana Bayou in the final show of a tour. Okay, you probably don't have a sister in the E1 spot of your dream night 2 or final night of a tour. Okay, you probably don't have so many new songs be played so much, but again, the Hollywood Bowl is a way to showcase where this band may be going. With a Something to Tell My Baby, which it did sound interesting with a full string accompaniment. Okay. People are probably not hoping for Sledgehammer in the final night of a tour. Okay. But when you have the violin being such a big part of this, that Tripping Billy's set closer, when you have Madman's Eyes coming to life, and I think that's one thing they wanted to showcase, right? Madman's Eyes having that full orchestra, Something to Tell My Baby having that full orchestra, okay? That's the band saying this is where we are. Greg says tonight does look a bit strange. Not the worst, but neither of the breaks, right? Break Free or Break For It or Drunken Soldier. Also, no Dreaming Tree. But I think that it's definitely not the worst. I would agree with this because let's pull up the set list, right? And this set list has some great things. First of all, drive in, drive out, right? Drive in, drive out. Give me one more. I need to adjust this. Here we go. We have a drive in, drive out. That's good. A Nancy's into Warehouse. We have a Fool to Think. These are songs that are special. First Fool to Think ever. Let's pull up the new song, the venue debuts for Hollywood Bowl. I'm surprised So Damn Lucky's a venue debut for this venue. You had 2018, you had 2012, even 2007. So I'm a little shocked that that's a venue debut, but that's a good song. So there are good songs. It's not the worst set ever, but it's definitely not the best set ever from this band on paper. Yes, there was a What You Are replies. I did not hear that. I was actually asleep, but I would love to hear that once we get some more video and the tape or audio. That's really cool. And then right into a drive and drive out. So definitely a unique set. I think the last two nights is kind of hard to predict what was played. It's definitely a weird set. Mike from Alberta says that Billy's was straight fire. Yes, I heard some of the clips here from Twitter, and yes, Ethan says that the show was hot. Yeah, I mean, I think the violin part trumps the set list part. Okay, because the violin being so far removed, the strings being so far removed, is the bigger thing. Shane, do you want me to call you? He says, hi from Hollywood. We would love to have you on if you're interested in coming on. Just let me know and I'll hit you up on the phone. Let me know if you need to get ready too, if you need to get set up, and we'll reach out to you by phone. So Shane, just reply in the chat because I would love to have you on first if you're okay with coming on. Oh, he says, call me. So let's get Shane on first. That's first and foremost because he was there. So we're going to get him set up. Mike says Gorge Night 2 is the best show of the tour. We'll get to that, and we'll have plenty of time even throughout this week to talk about that. I think Gorge Night 3 was better. Now, you were there. You were there, Mike. To me, that Encore Gorge Night 3 tops. Gorge Night 3 tops Gorge Night 2. That Encore and Gorge Night 3 just makes it easily overpowering. Let's call Shane, though.
Hello.
Mayo, hi, Dad. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. So, we're just looking at this set list. We're looking at some clips from our house, but you were there. What was it like tonight?
All right. Tonight was better than last night. And there was an awful lot of high expectations going into it.
Yeah.
Seemed like the crowd was vibing more. Early let in. We got there by, again, 5. I think we were there by 5:15. They just let everybody in at 5:30. And the pit was small, so after everybody got into the pit, there was still rail available. So, I don't know how much pit was given out for this show until a later crowd showed up and the pit filled up. Yeah, beautiful day, great venue. Again, I have to just emphasize the sound. The sound is just ridiculously good. So everything sounded great tonight, especially when the orchestra came out, especially when, we could talk about it. The guests came out. It was fantastic. Overall, the show, he came out and everybody almost like I don't want to say the crowd groaned to hear Samurai Cop, but the air just kind of loud. It was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll start with that. I guess it's your show. And then right after Samurai Cop, I think it was, he said, look, we're going to start slow tonight, and let's just see where this goes, and let's just have some fun. So then went into Rooftop, which, we've had quite a bit of Rooftop, but I still kind of like it. I'm in a jammy. Into the Maker, which, again, like the Maker. Into Bayou, and they brought out and I hope the Almanac has this. I'm sorry I didn't write his name down. I can't remember his name, but he is a very profound, very well-known jazz pianist, I guess, is what I have overheard the people in front of me. I think they Googled him or something as soon as Dave announced him. So then there was, I think I'm getting this right. Is it Bayou?
So yeah,
it's been a night, Marcus.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, so I'll walk you through. So the name, according to the Almanac, it's Robert Glasper was the pianist.
That's it. That's right.
And so I mean, he's played with Kendrick Lamar on "To Pimp a Butterfly." He won a Grammy for "These Walls." That's the Kendrick Lamar song. I mean, he's played with Mos Def, Lupe, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu. He's like he's a jazz keyboardist. And so you have, I'll read this out to you. So after the Maker, you have Bayou, Fool to Think,
Right.
Crush.
Crush was good tonight. Crush, everybody loves Crush.
And then we have The Ocean and the Butterfly.
That was good. Low number song. We haven't gotten that maybe 3 times. So it's always good to get. We were like, yay.
Yeah, definitely a low played. So you've got it 3 times. Overall, this tour, 6 times. And so after that, we have What Would You Say in the Seek Up? So what'd you think about that part of the show?
Fantastic. That Seek Up, that's when he came out. I believe it was Seek Up.
Okay, that's what they're saying here. The Almanac says.
He came out for Seek Up, and that went on. I'd like to know the time for that, to be honest with you. That was fantastic, and it got real trippy during solos because everybody was trying to gel with 2 pianos going at the same time, and it was so good. It really was so good. And I'd like to know the time on that. That really extended out and was fun. But boy, he was fantastic. I mean, he really great guest.
So when did he come in? Like, was he in the intro? Was he everywhere? Was he the outro? What did Robert appear to do to this Seek Up?
Not really in the beginning. The beginning was an awful lot of Rashawn tonight. He got an awful lot of stage time, and I would say more into the solos, is when he really started going crazy. It was fantastic. He was well received, not only by the crowd but by the band. The band loved having him. He was only there for one song. He was just there for the one song, and then he bounced out after Seek Up. And then Dave was highly animated for Sledgehammer. Now, again, just for anybody listening, my state of mind is by the time we get up to here, I'm in my happy place right now. You know what I mean? Like things are sounding good. The crowd is good. Everybody's feeling good. And then we go into Sledgehammer, and I was like, oh, he hit Sledgehammer, but he was so animated, and the crowd kept the energy so high that it was really fun to go through. Somebody threw up a hat and sunglasses or something on stage, and he put it on, and he was dancing around, and he really got everybody into the groove. into Nancy's, and Nancy's was fantastic. Tonight, really good. Nancy's straight into Warehouse, which you could pull the stats on this. That might be the first actual segue into song like that we've had in many shows. And if I'm wrong, it's probably because I'm just spacing it. But Nancy's into Warehouse, really good. Then he kind of got a little emotional. He started telling about how it sucks about getting old and your chin gets droopy and you lose your hair, and then he got real choked up and he said like the worst thing is losing those you love the closest, and he went into Something to Tell My Baby. Well received by the crowd. Yeah, Interlude. That's a great little jam what he does. I'd like to have some name to it or something. We've seen it quite a bit now, and you can see that it's working towards something. And then into Drive In, Drive Out, which, man, that just comes with a punch. Just loved it. Like If Only comes out. And again, yeah, Angie and I both like that. Madman's Eyes, another just solid. Into So Damn Lucky, which who doesn't love So Damn Lucky? We love it. Billy's was fantastic. They brought out the young lady that was the violin lady, the violinist last night. I think Anne Marie, or I think her name is.
Yeah. So we found out it's Anne Marie Simpson.
Anne Marie Simpson. That's it, right? So and closed with that, and again the crowd, just the reaction. She got a great solo during the jam, and the crowd just ate her up. I mean, it was incredible. Loved her. And then into the encore, and he come out with Sister. This is me personally. Don't at me. I don't care. But I don't have a sister in my life. I don't have an emotional connection to that song. It's very hard for me to be like, oh, sister. And it's like, okay, great. For anybody out there who has that sibling, I hope this speaks to you. But for me, it's a Doug song. So whatever, don't at me. And then it's a two-step, and the crowd just goes crazy, you know. So leaving the venue with high energy. Our section tonight was, I dare say, a lot like last night. Now we weren't. If you're looking at the stage, we were off kilter to the left last night, and tonight we were just one more section off kilter to the left. So we were almost maybe 6 rows down closer, but it really wasn't that big of a change. Again, with the people sitting down, during a lot of the real good songs too. People just didn't get it. They just sat there, which was fine. Whatever. We could see well if you're not going to stand. What else? I like tonight's poster. I know you'll probably get into it later.
Yeah.
We got the poster. I like about the colors pop and the theme and everything. But when we were going in, we walked by 2 merch tents, and they both had both nights' posters displayed. And when we left, the inside merch tent only had tonight's poster displayed, but the outside merch tent still had both nights' posters displayed.
Okay. That's good. I'm putting that down here. So both posters were available before the show. You had them both inside, and then after the show, you had tonight's one. I mean, outside you had both.
Outside merch tent still had both posters displayed for sale.
Okay. Wow. And so we're showing, as you're talking here, we have video from your wife, Angie. And what it looks like is, what's funny is the videos that she had yesterday, you saw a couple of cameras in the pit. Tonight, I see one person a little couple rows in front of you really going nuts. Everyone else seems to be sitting down by you. And then
It's incredible, Marcus. But we saw last night, so we didn't go into tonight thinking, wow, things are going to be crazy because it's Tuesday.
Mhm.
We didn't go in there thinking, we thought the energy is going to be higher and expectations are going to be higher. And the audience energy was, this is the final show. This is going to be, a banger. And he really did. It doesn't show on paper, but I mean, if you were there, the show did build. You know what I mean? So by the time it went through Samurai Cop and Rooftop's an okay song. I mean, and then into Maker, the crowd was kind of wanting something to jam onto. So when Bayou came out, that's really turning into like another Buddy's song. Buddy kind of took over every day. Well, he's kind of taking over Bayou too. He's highly animated. He's as it builds. He's up out of the seat and then he's jumping around and he's really causing a lot of energy during that song. So the crowd was really looking for something high energy to just start jumping around, I feel. So then it kind of just kept riding the wave. Fool the thing come out, but then bam, crush. And it was a good crush. And Ocean the Butterfly, what would you say? Seek Up was, again, that had to go, I don't know, man, 14, 15 minutes. Might be too much for you, Marcus, but it was it was fun. So again, looking at the set list, because I'm looking at it right now, I would probably, if I was home on the couch, go, oh. But it did build. And it built all the way up until like the orchestra came on. And then once the orchestra comes on, again, it's such a different sound. It's so full. And the orchestra got animated. Drive in, drive out. The orchestra was up out of the chair and they were jamming and it was really it was just fun to watch. It was fun to hear. But I can absolutely see, just looking at the set list, if I was on my couch, I go, oh, I don't know. How do you play the final show of the year and out comes blah, 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 whatever you want to throw out there. I'm not going to say it, but, and you go, well, he kind of had this, he kind of said it in the beginning. We're going to start slow and we're going to see where this goes. And it built and it built. And the energy came. And I don't know. All in all, we had a great time for 2 nights. I mean, not the perfect sets, and nobody ever gets the perfect set. And everyone says, oh, I can't believe they played this for the 32nd time this tour. But, we're all there. I mean, when you're in the moment and people are jamming and you meet friendly neighbors and, sometimes that song that you're tired of, in the moment after the first couple bars go through in the first line, you find yourself, the head starts bopping and before you know it, halfway through the song, the whole body's going and you're like, oh, shit, it was a fun song tonight. So I mean, yeah, I can see it, though. I can absolutely look at tonight's set list and see it on paper, but the feel was different. The feel there was fun. And Dave was so thankful to the crew and to his staff and the drivers. And, this is our final show. And thank you, everybody. And we do it the best. And so, yeah, it was good times had by all.
Yeah, and I'll say this: that's what we talked about before you came in the chat. I said there's 2 different things about this weekend, about this show, that stands out to me. You have the emotion of the violin in that you have this fuller sound for a good chunk of the ending, and then you have the idea that on paper, it's not going to look like one of the best shows of the tour. Still a lot of great stuff. Drive In, Drive Out.
Absolutely.
A
lot of good stuff still came out.
Right.
And a lot for us personally, low number stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't need, for the 37th time to eat or something. But hey, I just got this only 4 times. That's kind of cool.
Right.
Not my most popular song. It's not something that's on my top 10 list, but hell yeah, I'm going to take it. I haven't heard it very much.
Right.
And
I think what you say is very important. Your analysis of the crowd. We're going to have a Madison Square Garden 2-night stand, right? So this isn't the end of the year. So we know we're having MSG. We have Chicago. We have a whole nother leg of fall touring. So that's number 1. Number 2, you're at the Hollywood Bowl where you and other fans who were there last night and tonight are telling me that the crowd at the back is different. There's not, there's definitely seems to be fans like you who've traveled, but you have a lot of locals who, like you said, love the Sledgehammer, right? Love the high energy songs.
Sledgehammer. Marcus, the Sledgehammer might have gotten one of the biggest, like, out of your seat reactions. You know what I mean? So he's playing to the audience. He knows what they're wanting. I mean, it doesn't matter what Shane thinks. I don't care that Shane has seen Sledgehammer. He knows that every city he goes to, and he goes up there and he starts Dave dancing and starts singing this because everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
It's a huge reaction. And it creates the energy. And if you go into Sledgehammer, the crowd's super happy because they know that song.
Right. And
what's next? Nancy's, oh my God, I know this one too. Into Nancy's, straight into Warehouse. What a run. I can't believe this. I know where.
Right.
So the people that are more mainstream fan, like, they get that run of music right there. And to them, that's their night. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And that's what I think. Dave is very great at playing to the crowd. It's this, and that's why when you have a Hollywood Bowl summer tour ending, I think this is better than 2018. Either night to me is better than 2018, where they literally had so many duds in 2018 on set and listening to the show. The show sounded good in 2018, but this show has a whole new level. And I think, just as like you said, you've been through a lot. You've been to 10 shows. I think I've been to 8. I can't remember. But I think with this tour, there's something about each show that's really going to be that, okay, this is what this show got. And I think tonight's show, listening to you, seeing the reaction, tonight's show was not about having some like Halloween spoon. Because the crowd, like you said, the crowd's not going to know. They may like start bobbing their head to Halloween, but they're not going to know that song. They're not going to know Spoon, even Dreaming Tree. I think Dreaming Tree would have missed tonight. I think.
Well, again, I talked to quite a few ants before a show. I mean, there was quite a few warehouse members there. People were wanting a bartender this string, these 2 shows. People were wanting a pig, a big eye fish, something to say, hey, Hollywood. Here's a bone or something, and I was getting it from other fans, like, come on, give us something more. And I was like, I don't know, you're kind of getting what Dave wants to give you right now, and he's in Hollywood, California, and he's gonna play what he feels he wants to play.
And I think I think this. Like you said, it's Hollywood. It's not if you guys want a killer, like, deep cut show, go to MSG. This may be the last time, possibly, and I would say the next 2 years, that we're guaranteed to have a violin on stage with an orchestra. So, because if they don't do the Hollywood Bowl next year, do we get a fiddle? I don't think so. We'll talk about that later.
Sold out tonight, Mario. We had seats all around us open. We had a half bench behind us.
Wow.
Open. We had people moving down, like,
from
just
the back.
from up above, filling in spots, you know, and spots were still open.
Yeah.
So,
but that's LA. I mean, there's 50 other things going on tonight. This isn't Coldplay, right? This is not. I'm trying to think. This isn't BTS. This isn't Taylor Swift. So DMB, even though they are one of the best selling ticket acts,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the Taylor Hawkins thing, isn't that coming up soon?
This weekend.
And one of the ladies next to us said that her son was going to be going to that, and that's a big buzz right now out there apparently, because I heard it more than once about this tribute concert for Taylor Hawkins, and everybody who saw it saw the artist that showed up for the blowout in England. I mean, this is probably going to be something. So yeah, I don't know where expendable money comes into, but I know that's a pretty big show.
Yeah.
Last night you said Pearl Jam, Brandy Carlisle. So there's a lot of big stuff going on right now.
Right. And I just think a band, again, a true rock band, like even if Taylor, rest his soul, rest in peace, but if the Foo Fighters were planning to have a show this weekend anyway, or if the Foo Fighters were playing Thursday at the Forum, which they would have probably played that before the last show they were in LA was at the Forum. A Foo Fighters show, a Blink 182, like anything that's rock based, even if it's from the 90s or the 2000s, that's going to have more buzz in LA than a jam band show or a DMB, which I don't consider, but a Dave Matthews Band show. Their pocket is not in the West Coast. Their pocket is the Midwest, the South, even in Denver. Denver is as you live there, Denver is a phenomenal market for DMB and for jam bands. Just past the DMB spectrum, the jam bands, they will sell out Dicks. They will sell out Fiddlers. Once you get past Denver, the West Coast, like you said, and we spoke to other people, posters don't get sold out. Seats are open on a Monday, Tuesday. LA, DMB has to adapt to LA, right? I'm sure the Bulls like, listen, we're not giving you the weekend, right? We got football, we got USC, we got all this stuff. Hey, we have this Monday, Tuesday open. This is what we have available. Everything else for the weekend was probably, even before the Hawkins tribute, I'm sure the Hollywood Bowl or other stuff was booked. So I think that it's important for people to understand, if you're watching from home, if you don't understand how LA works for music, Dave Matthews Band will promote an album or they'll promote new music here, but they're not kings in this city like they are even in Colorado or SPAC or Saratoga or New York City, MSG, where they will have a Friday, Saturday, and they are going to be the event in New York City against all the other big acts that weekend, Christmas shows, all that stuff. No, DMB is number one in New York City for November. But in LA, it's a rock and roll city. It's a pop city. It's a, who's the hottest, radio act for the kids. That stuff is always going to trump DMB. And that's why DMB has this Monday, Tuesday, and a BTS, a Foo Fighters, and Ed Sheeran. They come to town, they're going to have the weekend.
Yeah, well said. I mean, it's definitely rock and roll and punk. I mean, just walk down any street and there's not a lot of Birkenstocks and cargo short, however you want to try to stereotype a granola person walking down the street. You're not seeing it in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, it's definitely a different crowd out here.
Yeah. Well, hey, Shane, I want you and Angie get some rest first off.
Thank you.
Get
Marcus.
some rest.
It's been a great tour.
Yeah.
And again, I've just enjoyed listening to all these podcasts that you're doing and everything. And thank you so much.
Yeah, and
from
like
the
I said,
community. Thank you for doing this. I don't know what your plans are during here in fall, but yeah, keep it up. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just will say this because we're going to talk about, like I said, I already said we're going to address some of the stuff last night, but you and Angie are a huge part of this community. The way you guys just make friends, right? We saw it. I saw it at SPAC. I saw it at Deer Creek. The way you guys make friends, you guys are kind to others. You guys get to lines early, and you're nice, and you're giving other people tips. You're letting people sit all around you. Like what you guys, you and Angie represent what this fan base, the good in this fan base. Why I go to shows by myself and I make 5 new friends. The way you guys share your trip, right? You guys don't have to do that. You guys could just be chilling, but we really appreciate what you guys bring to this community. And like I said, I can't say it enough. We're glad that you're able to go to these shows, and it feels like you're bringing part of us to the show with you. So thank you so much for what you do for the community as well.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Marcus. Have a great night. Thank
All
you
right.
for having me.
You too. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Okay. So I want to actually, we'll get to that after because I want to get Anthony on here as well. Yeah. So let's get Anthony, and then I'll just kind of give some of my reaction here to the to kind of just break down more of this set. Yeah. So we'll talk about Bartender. We'll talk about Stone. I have some opinions on that, but let's get Anthony on because everyone's coming back from the show, and I'm sure they want to crash. All right. So thank you to Shane. And let's see if we can. I want to get this. So our next guest that we're going to call, if we can get a hold of him, you guys may have seen, he actually knows Jeff Coffin. He's out here. And is this him? Wait, this isn't his page. But you guys may have seen at the beginning of this tour, when it first started, he was there in Texas. And there was a picture with him and Jeff Coffin. He was able to have a meal with Jeff Coffin, and that's not his page. But so he kind of has, he knows Jeff and has that connection. He's someone who goes to school out here in Connecticut as well, or was going out to school. We'll check in with that. This is going to be Anthony Socia. All right, so let's get him on the line.
Hello.
Hello, Anthony.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, this is Marcus, Conserviz34. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Great. So just let you know you're live on the air. We're just talking to fans about the show. What is your reaction to this Hollywood Bowl Night 2 show?
It was pretty good. I was listening to a little bit of the stream right before I came on, and talking about how it's sort of a different vibe out here, and not really DMB's territory. And the bowl itself is, it's different. It's pretty fancy, and a lot of the crowd there, are season pass holders who are at the show, and they're more interested in taking a seat and having a glass of wine and eating a nice dinner or whatever. So it's definitely different. But for the show itself, I mean, I guess a positive is all the guests they bring in and the orchestra. I guess going from the beginning, I thought it was a little bit of a slow start. Not even just because of the song selection, but they're literally playing a little slower tempo wise for Samurai Cop and Rooftop. And the Maker, then Bayou picked up. And then from there, it really picked up. Let's see, I'm looking at the set list now. It kind of, what? Sorry, I thought it disconnected for a minute.
Oh no, you're still on. Yep.
Okay. It kind of, the crowd in a way reminded me of Austin for the tour opener, because in Austin it was like, you know, people would sit down a lot, but then they'd hop up when like a hit would play, like What Would You Say or whatever. And I noticed that tonight. So, you know, when they hit, say, like Crush or What Would You Say, you know, the 5 or 6 rows in front of me would hop out of their seat and then sit right back down for, say, C Cup. Then Sledgehammer hop right back up. That was probably the loudest reaction limited to so many shows. Then coming into where the orchestra came back in, Something to Tell My Baby wasn't really ever too much a big fan of it, but it's definitely a pretty tune with the orchestra playing with Dave. And especially he gave it some context tonight, and he introduced it and he said something like, when I get older, I look forward to a lot of things, but one thing I don't look forward to is losing people I love. And he kind of got teary about it, and that was his introduction to the tune.
Wow.
So knowing that about it, and then hearing the orchestra, and it's, you know, it's a, also, you know, when seeing the CNN video of when he performed it down there with those images, it definitely is, you know, an emotional tune,
Right.
even though it's small. So I really enjoyed that with the orchestra tonight. It gave me, you know, a different perspective of it. Then they went into that. The orchestra just took off the second Something to Tell My Baby ended, and they went into that whole sort of interlude segue type thing that Dave, whatever his last name is, the conductor and arranger, he probably wrote this, and it was this like epic sort of segue that interwove like What You Are. It was almost like a reprise from yesterday.
Okay.
And then they went right into Drive In, Drive Out. So it was really cool, those segues. I wasn't expecting Drive In, Drive Out with the orchestra, but that was a great tune for it. The orchestra definitely struggled a little bit in the mix, especially when the band got louder the last 2 nights. Like for Something to Tell My Baby or Steady As We Go, you could really hear the orchestra, but on the louder tunes, they would more just fill the space versus really cutting through. But they came through nicely on parts of Drive In, Drive Out, sort of covering parts similar to what Boyd would have played. And If Only was sweet with the orchestra. Yeah, not anything crazy that made me feel. Then Madman's Eyes was probably, I think, my favorite tune in the orchestra both nights. When I saw there was the orchestra last night and heard that they're going to be there tonight too, I was like, they got to do Madman's Eyes. And it was pretty great. It was just a whole new layer to that song that it just sounded really good, made the song even better. So it'll be interesting to see if there's something like that on record, if it makes it onto a potential album.
Yeah, I know they had that, and I'm sure you've seen it. There was the video from Rashawn's Instagram I think it was last year or the early this year, where you had the string section. So yeah, I wonder if it's that was Madman's Eyes some sort of I don't know if you remember, but it sounded like some sort of interlude or intro to a song that Rashawn was videoing.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that video, and I remember kind of what it sounded like, and I was trying to listen for that tonight, and I couldn't really hear kind of some of the, I guess, chords I remember hearing from that video, but that would definitely be cool if something like that is on the album, or if that video was part of Madman's Eyes.
Right.
And So Damn Lucky was pretty standard. Again, with the crowd, people were kind of looking around like stunned when a lot of the crowd started singing the thank you interpolation.
Yeah.
You know, there was like this older couple that just sat there, and I just saw them like turning around. So it was pretty quiet, and it didn't really take off like, say, it did at Alpine or something. Then Billy's with Anne-Marie Calhoun was pretty amazing, as you've probably already seen in a clip on Instagram or whatever.
Yes, that is funny how quickly the Gorge crew gets someone's video, like Janine's video, and that was like, I saw it like right away. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm at the show.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can really tell she really practiced, and she really studied the tune, because both solos for Ants and Billy's, she took off with like the album part that Boyd played, and then expanded the solo from there. Sort of variation on that, and it was great. She has a great energy, and people clearly really excited to see that. And it's really cool for me, because I didn't see the band till 2018 was when I started. So it was it was my first time ever hearing a violin with Dave Matthews Band.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I really appreciated that. It's also just great to see more female musicians on the stage too, between the both nights, all the guests. And then the encore tonight, Sister made his usual comment about being pro-choice, as he has been doing throughout the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then two-step was pretty standard. So yeah, I guess that's my venting of the whole show tonight.
Yeah, so people want to know, what was your favorite song or favorite part of the show?
Let's see. Probably Madman's Eyes and Drive In, Drive Out with the orchestra. Everything with the orchestra. Something to Tell My Baby was, the whole amphitheater was dead silent, as it was for Sister too, so that was kind of cool. Like very, very quiet. Like you could hear a pin drop. No one even like busting out with a scream or anything.
Wow. That's interesting. And then tell us about, because obviously we had seen you on social media. Tell us about your kind of your ability to be able to meet with Jeff Coffin earlier in the tour.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's just a super nice guy. I've been doing yoga with his wife and him on Zoom since the start of COVID now, for over 2.5 years. So this is my plug for Lyoko. Go check out her Instagram, Facebook page. Come to Zoom yoga class Wednesdays and Sundays. It's pretty amazing on Zoom. It's been completely life-changing for me. It's very gentle. It's for everybody. So through that, I ended up connecting with Jeff, and I'm a drummer, and he was just nice. He had reached out before. It's like, hey, I just want to hear what you're like up to at school, music-wise. And yeah, he's just a nice person. He's a normal person. He's not just the sax man you see on stage. He's just a humble person, like I think the whole band is. And yeah.
That's awesome. And then you're at the University of Hartford, correct?
Yeah, I'm just finishing up. I'm just taking one class this semester to graduate with my Bachelor of Music in Percussion Performance and Music Education.
Awesome. And I'm a little biased because I played clarinet and honors band in high school. So my clarinet teacher went to the Hart School of Music. I have a couple friends that graduated from there. One of them, she's about to hit her 10-year mark next year. And as far as teaching here in Connecticut, teaching music, she played clarinet with me. So that school, University of Hartford, that is a school that I know people who have been there. My teacher, my private teacher, like I said, was there. So it's a really good school. I do want to tap into just very quickly. Just tell us like what shows you went to this year and kind of what was your takeaway chasing this band across the country and really as someone who started in 18, kind of what your thoughts were about this tour.
Yeah. This year, so 18, I went to my first show, Mansfield. I was only 19 years old, I think. And then, yeah, I was like everyone else sucked into the whole live scene. And then 2019, I went to 5 shows. And last year, I went to maybe 8 or something. And then this year, this is my 11th. So I really, I went all out this year trying. I mean, I love the traveling, meeting so many people, and I'm just trying to check out all the different tour stops. So I did the tour opener in Austin. I did the Hartford Mansfield near us. Then it was Alpine, first time at Alpine. Then I did SPAC next weekend, which we're lucky in the Northeast to have so many venues right. In driving distance.
Yeah.
Then I drove to Camden for just the first night, last minute. That was a quick add-on. And then Bethel, which was a great show. And then these 2 at the Bowl. I guess my takeaway for the whole tour, I think it was my favorite tour. I mean, arguably their best tour since 2018. They clearly put a lot of effort into mixing the sets up. A lot of unpredictability in places.
Yeah.
And I guess it's really cool to see them throughout the tour because then you get a little bit of everything. So like at the beginning of the tour, I got, Shotgun, Break Free, Break for a Dreaming Tree, those tunes. And then at the end of the tour, the riff, the stuff that we get at the Bowl, Fool to Think. So it's cool nice to hear because he gets into his habits and then the sets start to shift a little bit throughout the tour. So that was nice to get all that. Still didn't get Drunken Soldier though, because I wasn't at the Gorge or any of those shows. Still chasing that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's one where if like I started in 2012, that was one that was around in the Northeast very frequently in 2012, 2013. And in the since 2019, it wasn't played in 18, but since 2019, it's only been played in the Mountain Time Zone once. And then it has a couple of plays in the Pacific Time Zone, twice in California and twice in Washington State, Gorge 2019, and then Gorge 2022. So it's one of those odd songs that just, even though you were able to get Shotgun and you were able to get some rare songs like Break Free, Break For It, that's a song where you have to, for some reason, it just hasn't been played. But I think what you'll find is that's just how following this band around is. You'll miss a song by one night. And then you have songs like Shotgun. I've been to 41 shows. I have missed Shotgun by one show, I think 2 or 3 times. So it's one of those things where, but that's the beauty of chasing DMB is a lot of jam bands. If you go to 5 or 10 shows a year, you're probably going to get 99% of what you want. But if you go to a regular show where maybe there's 2 or 3 sub-ins or sub-outs, like a a Billy Joel, John Mayer, or just someone who plays the same set every night. You don't get that variety. So that's DMB. It messes with you so much that it makes you want to go to more shows. And when you get that moment, when you get a number 34 at the Gorge, some people got that. They were in tears. And you're not expecting to be crying at a concert ever before you get into this fan base. But that's the beauty of it, is that when you get something after so many years, it's a special thing. So I want to thank you for being on, Anthony, especially, like I said, it's 12:20 out there. We appreciate your perspective. And I'll say this because, like I said, I've been in for 10 years. You're starting at 18. One of the things I stress on this show is it doesn't matter when you join. I regret not going to shows here in Connecticut in the mid 2000s when I wasn't a teenager. But listen, that I didn't go. I never saw Leroy. You've never seen Boyd. But I think what's great about this fan base is it doesn't matter when you start. Once you get into this fan base, once you get in, it's like the mafia. Once you get in, you're in. And everyone can offer perspective, even you as a drummer, even the way you're speaking about this show, you offer a unique perspective that even people like you'll I'm sure maybe you'll notice this, but you'll notice this definitely as you continue. There are people that have gone for 20 years to shows and they still don't pick up on things like you'll be able to pick up on different drum beats, different guitars, different keys, different signals. So there's always a place for everyone, no matter if it's your first show, no matter you're 3 years in. And I hope you continue to chase down more shows, and I hope you get your Drunken Soldier.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad I could share a unique perspective. And yeah, I agree. That's been the best part, especially this year. Just every show added on is more people you get to meet, and then more people when you're traveling around.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for having me. Nice to talk to you for the first time live.
Yeah.
And I'm not far. I have an apartment in Bloomfield, so
yeah, we'll catch up. I'll hit you up offline.
Yeah.
After, listen, I'm so exhausted from this. I've been running around all this stuff, but I'll hit you up offline. We'll meet up definitely.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, you take care.
Okay, you too.
All right,
see ya.
all right. Yep. All right, so that was Anthony. I want to thank him for coming on. What I want to say is a couple of things here. So again, I know people are like, "Oh, this show? Is it the best show? Is it the worst show?" The highlight of this week, this Monday, Tuesday, this isn't about having having the best set of the tour as far as on paper. This is about giving fans the violin. Like I said, I'm calling it right now. I don't think, listen, if I'm wrong, then we all win. All right. If I'm wrong, then we all win. I don't think maybe we see a violin guest for maybe we get a guest for like a Dave and Tim in Mexico. I know, Mile High Dad Shane, he goes out there pretty much every year, but I don't think we get a fiddle for a while with this band. So the fact that the whole highlight of this week is Tripping Billies and Ants and Drive In, Drive Out. Like, that's what this week is about. And honestly, I think that's more, if as far as the last 5 years of touring, I think the last two nights having violin is almost better than any sort of rare run of shows you can get. Because listen, it's more common to have a killer show over the last 5 years. It's more common. I think of Gorge Night 3 this year. I think of MSG Night 2 last year. I think of SPAC last year, outside of that Shake Me closer, right? There's been tons of shows that you're like, wow, what a great set list. You could pick 3 or 4 from each year, 18, 19, 21, 22. But how many shows can you say in the last 5 years that, oh, wow, that violin solo really took off? And hey, Susie DMB, great to see you. I know you're one of my Instagram buddies. Um, that's what this is about. And really, this tour, this era of the band, you can't say, like, obviously we can, right? We can critique as much as we want, but you're gonna get something special typically at these big 2 night stands that you say, this is what I got, this is what I take away. Like I said, Gorge this year, night 3. The takeaway is that was one of the most unpredictable encores ever. We don't, and listen, Heinz, I don't care that You Might Die Trying was not played, okay? You know how many times I got You Might Die Trying? And this is where I'll talk about this. Shout out to my boy Shane, right? The whole, like, I don't care about You Might Die Trying for this show. It was played so, and listen, it's a great song. I love it. At Deer Creek, I was like, yo, because I was at the lawn. I was in the lawn, your home stomping grounds, Heinz, where you typically go to Deer Creek, right? I was in the lawn for that because I wanted to experience like what the lawn was like, because I had seats both nights. It was amazing. But I don't care about You Might Die Trying to close out a last, even if I had my favorite show. I want to hear Tripping Billies. I want to hear Ants March. I want to hear, and we got those. I would rather have Drive and Drive Out than You Might Die Trying. I'd rather have uh What You Are, even though that was played last night, than You Might Die Trying. And I would rather have an experience where I can feel the violin in person. Should they have played Lion Our Graves? Maybe. I said the number one song I wanted to hear with the orchestra was The Stone. But this is the Hollywood Bowl. Maybe the Stone does the Stone does impress people here. But as Anthony said, as Shane said, there's season ticket holders, season seats as they call them in Ticketmaster. They call them season seats. And those are grandfathered in, I believe, for a lot of venues. They don't really sell them anymore. And those people at the Hollywood Bowl, listen, these are people that are making $150,000, $200,000 a year or more, especially in California. Because if you make $100,000 in California, you're still kind of struggling because of the cost of living and all the taxes and all that stuff. So these are the people that are coming into this venue, they're bigwigs. They make a lot of money, they have important jobs, and they release by going to these shows. So yeah, there's no Drunken Soldier. Okay, who cares? Like, to me, I think let me see if I have it on Twitter. My number one song was The Stone. The number one song I would have loved to hear is The Stone. Okay. The number one song I would have wanted to have is The Stone. After that, what did I say? I had a couple of. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to look at this because I had some replies. It's in one of my replies or mentions. Let's see if I'm going to look it up here. Okay. Let's see. I can't remember who I replied to. I'll find it if I can. But essentially, The Stone was that was one that was number one. But everything else, listen. And the thing is, Drunken Soldier has been played throughout this part of this leg of the tour. Sure, it would have been epic, but they have limited time to practice, right? And honestly, I would rather have the classic songs with violin. Yes, Drunken Soldier had fiddles in studio, but why do I not see? I thought I replied to someone. I definitely did. I'm just trying to figure out how to find it. I think the best thing they did was, I think the best thing they did though was, I can't find it. But the point was the Stone was number one. Okay. Tripping Billies is a great song. These are songs that the spirit of the violin was a part of. And then part of this is when they come to LA, they want to market their new material. We saw that with the Hollywood Bowl release was specifically to highlight this. When's the last time they played the Stone? I believe it was late in July. It was late in July, I think was the last time off the top of my head. But that's the tour. The tour has different songs that get in and get out. This leg of the tour, you saw the riff, you saw the riff, you saw It's Your Thing come back, and you saw Drunken Soldier come back, right? Those were songs that were played more. The breaks went away. But they have Tripping Billies, that's the highlight of tonight. And you had Madman's Eyes highlighted as one of the new songs. They did Drive In, Drive Out. If Only's a recent song. But to me, I thought the orchestra, if I would have had one thing that I would have changed, like now, again, they're trying to market to Hollywood to say, hey, this is some of our new stuff, here's some of our old stuff. But they were playing some more recent stuff with Madman's Eyes and If Only. Where Tripping Billies is that's the classic. But I think if there's a fiddle that comes in, I play more classic songs than new songs if I have the decision-making power. But I understand why they played the new, like why they played If Only, Something to Tell My Baby. This is to market. This is just like these Hollywood Bowl shows are almost like it's like going on Jimmy Kimmel, even though this is an actual full band show. Right? Back in 07, you would get all these deep cuts when John Mayer comes in, but 07 was a different time. Right? So yeah, there is no Pig. There is no Bartender. Bartender would have been awesome. Big Eye Fish would have been awesome. But those are songs that, like, that's the thing. This crowd is not meant for Now, yes, when Leroy Moore passes away, the Staples Center, listen, 08 is a different era. In 08, you still have, I think the vibe of Hollywood has shifted. Seek Up, are you talking about if Seek Up would have a fiddle? I don't know. But Seek Up is a classic. I think Seek Up was, I don't think you need violin on Seek Up. Now listen, some of the greatest Seek Ups have had a great Boyd solo, but I think Tripping Billies is the can't miss. I think you do Seek Up like they did it with the guest keyboardist, and you focus that violin on Drive In, Drive Out, and Tripping Billies. Now, Drive In, Drive Out, I would have never thought they would have played that with the violin, but from all sounds of clips I've gotten, it sounds great. And listen, I don't care about Come On, Come On. I think that song it's a good song, but I want it with the classics. Seek Up can go sit for a while. Yeah, I'm not mad if Seek Up goes away. Now they've had some pretty good performances of it, but it's a song that takes up a lot of the set list that to me is never going to be the same without Leroy Moore. Like Seek Up to me with Leroy Moore, or take Branford Marsalis, who I've seen in 2015. Give me a Seek Up with him and take Rashawn, let Rashawn take a little bit of a backseat driver, or put Rashawn in like the back seat and let Branford just do his thing on that intro. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not mad if it goes away. But to me, I think, oh, come on, what's supposed to be played? See, I just listen, the older songs, like for Come Tomorrow, okay? For Come Tomorrow, Virginia in the Rain, Black and Bluebird, right? Idea of You. Those are the only three songs that I really care. Everything else should go away. There's too much good new music, and there's too much classic music. Like, And even Away from the World. Now, If Only sounds great the way they've revamped it, but I don't need If Only. Away from the World's a great album as far as studio, but I don't need these Away from the World. I want to hear the new stuff as far as Madman's Eyes, Walk Around the Moon, Ocean and the Butterfly, and I want to hear the classics. Okay. Come on. Yes, Come on would sound great with an orchestra, but I'd rather hear the Stone. Okay. I'm sorry. Like the classic material of this band is just by far better with violin and when it's played live. Now, if they play new music, I do enjoy it. But I like the new stuff and the old stuff. I don't think they missed tonight. And again, they played to the audience. We can't agree on this. They played to the audience. They even said, what was that? I don't think Granny does not need strings now. Now, guys, and listen, you guys are entitled to your opinion. Who needs strings on Granny? That's a song that still sounds great. This is what Granny is. It is, let me see if I can tune this guitar. The best part of Granny is these two strings right here. It's the G string and the B string. That's the best part of Granny. We don't need, like, again, if we only have, but the thing is, if we only have strings for 4 or 5 songs, I'm picking the Stone over Granny. I'm picking Billy's over Granny. I'm picking Ants Marching over Granny. Right? I'm picking Pig over Granny. Guys, Pig with violin I take that over Granny. This is the best part of Granny. This is the whole thing. And I know they played it with the Richmond Orchestra. Like, someone's gonna, I think they have that tape. They have like a video of it that they're gonna send. But it doesn't matter. It's Granny. The best part of Granny is this. I'm not saying it would be bad. I'm not saying that Granny with the orchestra would be bad. Guys, the Stone. That song is the first real song studio-wise that we had an orchestra. The Stone. Right? And I just think, again, when you only have a couple of shots, I'm not choosing Granny. I'm not choosing Come On. I want the bangers. I want Dreaming Tree. I want Tripping Billies. Even a 41, even though they didn't play it. A 41. Yeah, they weren't going to play the Stone, which is fine. Listen, it is what it is. But guys, again, this show was about catering to the audience that was there. It's not about, listen, if the show was 99% hardcore fans, they would play crazy stuff. This thing did not even sell out. And listen, a lot of it is, I've literally been on here after every stream, every show. Plus Dave and Tim, plus when they canceled West Palm Beach. Yes, the Stone was shelved. But part of that is, again, that song hits. Now, they could have played it at the Gorge, right? And they could play it anywhere. But yes, it was shelved. But I'm just saying, even so, I'm not talking about what was available or not. And they could have brought it back. They brought back Fool to Think Tonight, right? They brought back a couple of songs that hadn't been played for a while. It's only the fourth If Only of the tour, right? Drive In, Drive Out was primarily a East Coast song, and they brought it to the West Coast for a couple of times, including tonight. All I'm saying is that they did not miss the mark tonight. They played to the audience. And again, the set list isn't the guys. Listen to the people who were there, right? Shane was on. Now, again, Shane, to his credit, has been to so many shows. You could tell how exhausted he was, but he enjoyed it, right? But I've been there. Listen, when I was, if you look at my streams from Alpine, I was exhausted. Maybe I had a little bit of just the post-concert high, but I was exhausted. That's what Shane, but you could tell that he was appreciative. These shows were not about the best set list. Go to MSG. right? MSG night 2. I don't think LA is getting a bad rap as far as it's just that's just how this is how LA is. And it's okay. It's okay that Dave Matthews Band, the world does not run around Dave Matthews Band in LA. It's okay that it's more of a rock, like when Pearl Jam played the Forum, when the Foo Fighters would play the Forum last year before Hawkins passed. That's what this city's about. But they still showed up. It's just LA is LA. Now listen, I've never been, right? So I can't, and I hope to go at some point, but this is a hard show for a fan to travel to financially, unless you're in the West Coast, because everything in LA is not cheap to get around. There's no public transit. Like, my dad's gone on business a bunch of times. I've helped him get tickets. And that's kind of what I know. What I know is because I've helped my dad get concert tickets and sporting event tickets when he has business in LA for his clients. Will MSG get the last stop? It could get it again. But again, once they announced the fall tour, right? You have this fall tour, which I thought they were going to announce. People thought it was coming because of the Hollywood Bowl and a possible album. But once they announced the Hollywood Bowl, once they announced the fall tour, I'm like, okay, Hollywood Bowl is not supposed to be like this. Sometimes the last show of the tour, of the summer tour, is not going to be this, oh, wow, look at all these firework type events. No, if you end in LA, you have to, oh, wow, it costs them $500 to go to tonight. Yeah. Yeah. So there's so yeah, it costs a lot. But again, yeah, Chula Vista would have been more affordable. But even Chula Vista, you have to fly into California, right? What, San Diego? You could fly into you could fly into Orange County, or you could fly into was it LAX or Wayne, right? You could fly into there and just drive south. But I think Chula is going to be a cheaper ticket. It's just this is Hollywood. This is how it is, for better or for worse. Like I said, I've gotten my dad big time tickets to basketball games for him and his clients. I've gotten him hockey tickets. He needs help. He wants to show off stuff, and I've helped my dad to get stuff. So that's kind of how I know it. And my dad's talked to me about going to stuff in LA. Again, I've never been. Again, I'm seeking the expert advice from people who go. The last show of the year does not always get last stop. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. At MSG, when you have an MSG closing out a tour, you're gonna get the last stop, right? But like even 2018, what's the last tour, right? JPJ. Did they get last stop? There's no last stop. See, 2018, Christmas song 2-stop, Halloween. Yeah, there's no last stop, right? 2019. What was the last show? And then, let's look at this too. Look at this. Let's take a look at this, right? So the last show of (2019) in America was the Del Mar. This was in Kabul, right? And no last stop here. So again, when you have an MSG, it sets you up. When MSG closes out, and let's even look at the last show of the tour that's not a festival, right? Which is Phoenix, Arizona. The last American show, Granny and the Ants March. Look at this. This is the last show. So, like this, even if we compare this show to the Phoenix, I'd rather take Tonight, right? Look at this show. But again, they had to play the Phoenix. You end on Ants because listen, you're in Phoenix, Arizona. You have people like Jeff and Michelle who were there. 2018, right? I did 2018. So look at this. JPJ is the last show of 2018. By the way, guys, just to point out, The 2018 winter tour, you had tickets that they couldn't give away for JPJ.
Bruh.
There were $2-3 tickets at JPJ. Now, listen, there's some great stuff here. Christmas song, Two-Step Halloween. But they didn't have you could argue the MSG shows are better than JPJ, right? It's fall tour, right? But even if let's look at the summer tour. But the point is, but that 2018 winter tour was better than the summer tour. Bruh, they brought back, like, look at this. Like, you remember this show? You want to talk about great shows? Look at this show. Kill the King. Sweet Emotion came back. Sleep to Dream Her. Break Free came back for a show. The 2018 winter tour or fall tour, whatever you want to call it, was better than most of the summer. Now, yes, Deer Creek that year was very good. Deer Creek was an anomaly in 2018. The rest of that tour was trash. There were some special shows, the big, but I went to you can see my shows 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I did Farm Aid, that was 17. But like, let's look at the last show, because that was the Hollywood Bowl. They closed out the Hollywood Bowl. This is 2018. This show is not better than tonight. This No Last Stop. This show was absolute trash. Outside of When I'm Weary, I've heard. Now, this show sounded great. This show sounded amazing as far as the band being cohesive. But this release was the worst Hollywood Bowl show of all time. This is the worst time. This is the worst Hollywood Bowl show ever. There's no deep cuts. At least we got Drive In, Drive Out, Seek Up, right? We had One Sweet World, That Girl Is You, trash. 41, Don't Drink the Water, Again and Again, When I'm Weary, Bayou, Sledgehammer, Crash. What would you say? Here on Out, come on, Squirm. Squirm's probably the best song on this run with the orchestra. Jimmy Thing, trash. Shake Me Like a Monkey, trash. Every Day, trash. She, trash. Ants Marching, good song, but no deep cuts. Samurai Cop Encore 1, trash. Why I Am, Watchtower, A Cover to End, trash. So I think tonight's show is better than the Bowl, but this is a Hollywood Bowl set because this is what, like that, these type of sledgehammers, right? Don't Drink the Water, right? These are the songs that people know. Jimmy Thing. So, oh my God, you're tired. Yeah, you got to get sleep on these. You're so a little tired from a 24-day yesterday traveling to LA. I hope I made sense. But Anthony, you listen, we would love to have you back if you go to a show. Your ability to in the moment break down things, I hope you understand, like, it's not easy to do what you just did. You broke down that set fully. Okay. You did great. You did amazing. Like, to be able, and I think that's just your ability as someone who's getting a degree in the music field, you're able to break down a show like that. Right? It is not, for those of you guys who have never called into this show or never done a live stream or never talked on the air about music, it is not easy to do. Anthony on the phone, just being able to answer those questions. Boom, boom, boom. Now you did great, Anthony. Let's give him the hand clap right here. All right. It's not easy. It looks easy. This looks easy, but it's not easy to do. All right. Last stop. The last stop was in MSG Night 2 last year. Anyway, we're off that. All right. I got to get to a couple other things. So the other thing I will say is, okay, apparently, and this is always what trolls do. There were some people like, oh, why was Shane? And this goes in with how difficult it is to come on a show after a concert. As someone who's done this for 3 or 4 years, coming on streams after a show, right? You guys can look at my old shows from last year at the Gorge, and some shows from New York City, driving back at like 3 a.m. and doing a stream, right? It's hard to talk after a show. But one of the things that I had to personally learn, okay, I had to personally learn that if you're not at a show, it is easy to fall in the victim of on the couch tour. Oh, this set sucked, or oh, this, or oh, how can someone like come on and say the vibe wasn't there for this show? And so yesterday, people were talking, apparently, oh, how is Shane? Shane came on. How is he so negative about the energy? How is he so negative with the crowd? He was there. And part of this is if you've never been to a certain part of the country for a show, if you're not at the show, if you're not talking to people from the show, your opinion doesn't really hold much weight about the show because you weren't there, right? And so last night we had this show where Shane went to Northern California on Saturday. Shane's been to all the Cali shows this tour. He started off in Irvine. Everyone I talked to that went to that Irvine show said it was a laid back show. He then Shane went the next day and flew to San Francisco. And Shoreline was high energy. It was a lot of energy for that show. So even though Shane has been to SPAC, he's been to Deer Creek, he's been to Fiddlers, he's been to 3 different time zones. I don't know if he did any Midwest shows, but he's been to every time zone but the Midwest 100% for sure this tour. And Shane goes to at least 8 shows a year. He went to 10 this year. So he's been to the Midwest for other years. He just didn't go this year. Unless I'm missing a show he was at. He did the Midwest, but Deer Creek is in the Eastern time zone. It's in it's the furthest you can really get at that Eastern time zone. Sun went down at like 9:30. It was really cool this year going to my first Deer Creek. But the point is, Shane knew exactly what he was talking about. Coming from a Shoreline, high energy, to a Hollywood Bowl where you have season ticket holders, where you can bring wine to your seat. They would never let someone at SPAC. They would never let someone on SPAC bring a wine bottle to their seat because they knew they would know it would get thrown on. Right. So that's how laid back the Hollywood Bowl is. They allow you to bring a bottle of wine to your seat, to your box. So that I will say that for people who got the smoke, for people that are at the show, you are not at the show. You can play a hate from the sideline, but if you've never been to a show and you're talking about the show and like, oh, this person doesn't know what you're talking about. No, he was there. Shane was there, and Shane gave his opinion of that show based on the energy shift from Shoreline to Southern California, back to Southern. He started in SoCal with the Chula Vista show just north of San Diego, and then he went to Northern California, Shoreline. Then he went back to Southern California for these 2 shows. So people that are talking, this is why I do this show. It's a learning experience for people. Like I had to learn. If you're not at the show, shut up and listen to people that were at the show. And even if you don't like a song or you still may not agree, at least you get perspective from people who are physically there, seeing half their section sit down, seeing people at the Hollywood Bowl not sell that thing out and having benches open and people moving up from the back. Okay. Susie says, yeah, I enjoyed it as a bucket list, but would never see DMB there again. Right. So again, I tell people, listen, watch this show, listen to people who are at the show to get perspective about what these venues are like. And again, I fell victim to this a couple years ago, thinking that I would be able to. Anthony, I gotta wrap up because it's almost 4 a.m. here, so I don't have time to go over Seek Up. But I know that there was, you had a guest there. But yeah, so that's my take on all this. There's always going to be people who don't get it, who don't understand perspective. But you don't go to the Hollywood Bowl to get the best show of the year as far as a fan, as a diehard fan. You go there because you want to enjoy California, you want to get some strings, you want to get the prime time. It's showtime, right? It is just like the Showtime Lakers. When you go to a Lakers or a Dodgers or Clippers game, like my dad has, he said it's a whole different vibe, right? People show up late. There's LA traffic. Because of LA traffic, people the pit. We Steph couldn't come on tonight, but Steph was at the rail, and she kind of just walked up at 4 or 5 o'clock and got rail. Okay. It's a whole different vibe. You can't do that in Hartford. You can't walk up at if there was no pit lottery, right? That's the thing. There was no pit lottery for these shows at the Hollywood Bowl. If there's no pit lottery at SPAC or Gorge or Deer Creek, you can't walk up at 5 o'clock and get rail unless you cut people, right? Unless you start cutting people, right? Unless you come in like Waka Flocka and you start bullying people, you ain't getting in. So it's a different thing to be out there. Hollywood is different. It's showtime. It's different. Okay. I want to get to the poster. So here's my thing about the poster. Now, some people, listen, you may like it, you may not. My stance on this poster is I didn't like any of the posters for this run, the Hollywood Bowl. I just hate it. And this is why I'm not saying that this is not a piece of art that somebody would love. It's just not for me. Okay. This poster is not for me. Last night's poster was not for me. Bruh. Let me show you what I love. Okay. And Monk One, listen, he's talented. I just think his art, and listen, they couldn't give away these posters. Now, some of that may have to do with Hollywood because some people did like it. Some people didn't. Give me a poster like this. Now this is not Hollywood. This is Austin, Texas. But give me some sort of poster like this. Give me a poster like this. Let's see if we can find some Dead & Company posters from Hollywood. Right. I love the Dead & Company post. Listen, look at this. I love now some people get sick of the same old stuff, right? Let's see if we can find the LA posters. But to me, I look listen. This is Pittsburgh, Burgettstown. I love these posters. Dead & Company does not miss. Liberty Bell. Look at that. Liberty Bell. I don't care. Like some people think, oh, they have the same stuff. Give me something that represents the city. Right? Even this poster that doesn't even this is Bristol, right? But you have the Virginia foothills, the valley, right? Just outside of DC. Let's see. Look at this. I love these. This is Hartford. Now, for those you don't know, Hartford is on the Connecticut River. There's an archway bridge. That's the I-84 bridge right there. I love this poster. Now, I couldn't make this show because I was at Alpine. I was at Alpine for DMB. So I would have loved this poster, but I don't buy posters with shows I don't go to. So your boy Constance 34 was not in Hartford for that show, but I would have gotten that poster. Love this poster. You're at a football stadium. Football poster. Less is more for this. Bethel Woods. Woodstock territory. Look at this. You're taking the wagon, the farm wagon. I love these posters for Dead & Company. Look at this one. I haven't even usually I do prep for these shows. I didn't even look at these posters. Look, Clarkston, Michigan. Love it. Nature. Susie, have a wonderful, listen, I appreciate you being on, Susie. I know it's late. It's past a lot of people's bedtime, including mine. Deer Creek, look at that. Deer Creek. I love these posters. We're gonna go back to look, Chicago baseball stadium. Let's see if we can get to like look at this Boulder poster. Love it. Dead and Company does not miss. Yeah, but my point is, this is what I want from DMB. I want more. Hollywood should have had a poster that was the equivalent of this, right? But it said it's Hollywood. And I know there's already been posters with Hollywood, but if I'm going to the Hollywood Bowl as a fan, look at this. Shoreline. Look at this Shoreline poster. Look at the Redwoods in Northern California. Imagine if DMB had a poster. DMB's poster was like, oh no, DMB did have a good poster for Shoreline. I listen, I loved Shoreline, and the artist thanked us on some of the poster groups. Thank you for the support. The Shoreline poster had the house in the bottom. We're not Heinz. We're not talking about the music. We're talking about posters, okay? And Dead and Company is a great. It's pricey. The reason I don't like Dead and Company because it's too pricey. That's a whole different issue, though. But they do. They look at this. This is the LA poster for Dead and Company. I think it's better. Now this was at Dodger Stadium, but again, this captures LA. This is at Chavez Ravine, which, by the way, to build this stadium, they kicked out a bunch of people's from housing and eminent domain. But that's not the point. Anyway, that was in the 60s when the Brooklyn Dodgers moved to LA. Right? Was there a poster? Okay. All right. So those are the posters for Dead and Company. But my point is, I thought the posters were better. All right. So the fiddle player. We'll keep this video of the. Oh, wait. Let's see. Let's go to the DMB Gorge crew. We'll have some backdrop of the fiddle. So now the talk is, the next thing I want to bring up is, okay, that's everyone there. Ann, Rashawn, Jeff, Dave. Very cool. All right, this is we'll mute this and put this in the backdrop. So, okay, so. All right, the future of DMB with strings. Will a violin player join part-time or full-time? So, a couple of things here. Obviously, the talk of the town is, it's funny too. You know, it's funny. I broke down on Twitter Ann's life. And it's Ann. I'm sorry, Ann. I messed up because it is Ann Marie Simpson is what she's going by. She's married to Incubus guitarist Mike Inninger. All right. Dude created this. Listen, the dude who created this little riff, right? Where is it? Oh. Whatever, yeah. And I love this one. I fly. Right. So that lead guitarist, right? And I love. So one of my favorite. I love Make Yourself, Morning View, and Light Grenades. Those are like some albums I really love from Incubus. Huge Incubus. I got to see them live though. I still have yet to see them live. But her husband plays for Incubus. They're touring right now. Right? They're touring. So her husband, that's his main gig, is touring for Incubus. They got married. I think it was 2017 or no, the 16. They got married in like around 2016. Had twins in 2017, which is common because she was older in age She is in her late 30s, and it's actually common. Well, who am I telling? You guys know, right? It's common for people who are older in age to have twins, especially if they're trying, they have certain things that they're doing to try to have a child late. But so she had twins. The twins are, I would say they have to be 5 years old or just about 5 years old. They were born in 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, they were born in 17. What do we have to say? Two-step closed. Yes, two-step closed the summer Hollywood Bowl. Very cool, right? Expected for this venue. Not much to talk about. but um but the problem with Incubus is they have very spotty tour dates, and like this year they were in Mansfield. I had a bunch of other shows and other stuff. I had commitments for that night. So I couldn't make it. If my schedule was free, I would have went. Well, yeah. All right. So yeah, two-step not being yes. Yeah, two-step, yes. I already talked about that though earlier in the tour. That two-step has been played a lot after Carter kind of had some issues about it. And that just goes to show you how much better this band is getting, even in as they face adversity. Carter's powered through and done things. Cool. But the future of the fiddle. So what's funny is I tried to put context on Twitter last night and on Instagram, right? And I tried to explain that I don't know fully, and I always say this is up to couples. This is up to people who are parents to decide how they want to proceed. But if your husband is touring with Incubus, you have two twins and they're 5 years old, or either about to turn 5 in the next 2 months, you probably are concerned about being there for those early childhood years, right? So maybe she could always, they could be with the grandparents, she could have a nanny, they could be homeschooled. But I would think more likely than not, assuming, which I think is still, the door is closed for Dave. He doesn't want, Dave and management, they don't really want to have a fiddle player. But even if they did and they offered a contract to her, I don't think she would take it. Now, some people said, well, she's playing with the orchestra, she has all these other side projects, but I think touring with DMB is a whole different marathon. She can play with orchestra, she could do collaboration. She's in LA. She can do all sorts of business during the day. The kids go to daycare, and then she comes back home and then is there for them. And again, I say it's the roles of parents vary by couple. But I would think that perhaps like she wants to be there for her children in person. She wants them to have a stable home in LA or wherever they live. Right? So I don't think she would go on tour with them. And now some people said this argument, hey, maybe she comes on for a couple weekends a year, right? So she does Deer Creek, Alpine, SPAC, right? Maybe, but again, maybe she doesn't. She just wants to do these like this LA thing was convenient for her, right? Even so, she may want to be there in the summertime when the kids are out of school and be about the children. We don't know, and we don't even know if she's being offered anything. But my big thing was, I doubt that she is a long-term guest. Now, yes, it's flattered. People are saying, yes, we want this person. Yes, everybody wants her to be part of the band, but I mean, I just think it's unlikely it's going to be her. But what's funny, everyone's like, yo, screw them kids. They was like, man, forget them kids, right? They was like, yo, we want this talented woman on stage with us, right? And it doesn't seem likely that it's past this, but that's what made this weekend great. This weekend was to utilize the violin. Maybe you don't get every song you want, but you get an amazing Billy's, and you get an amazing Ants Marching. And some people, you could argue the Ants was better than the Billies, but you know, whatever. Who cares? They're two great nights. And most people went to both nights. So then, I spelled this wrong. The Future of DMB with Strongs. ST. Strings. Yo, you guys got to tell me when I'm spelling stuff wrong. I think the band and its management. So take away Ann, right? Because I don't think Ann's available to be here a long time. I just don't think the band, Dave, management, for whatever reasons, whether it's something contractual with Boyd, whether it's something financially, right? How do we add a violin? We can't kick out Buddy. They're not going to kick anyone out of the band, in my opinion, unless there's some sort of issue that they run through or there's some personal issue they have to deal with. Also, I was wrong. Yeah, so Rocky King of Music. I put if you look at the final post, no, if you look at the description of last night's video, and at the end, the last 3 minutes of the video, I explained that I made an error. I thought that she was still married to Brian Calhoun. They divorced in 2013. I was aware that they were married back in 2012. Maybe even a little before that. I was told, hey, this is Brian Calhoun, but I didn't realize they got a divorce. Okay, so I was wrong yesterday, and so Ann is not married to Brian. They got divorced, and she married Mike Inninger from Incubus. Sorry for mispronouncing his name. So she has children with Mike from Incubus, and those children are 5 years old. So I don't think she's an option. But even past her, there's some other people that Lindsey Sterling, I believe. There's been a lot of people. There was someone from a cover band. What was it? I saw something on my timeline earlier, and someone's like trying to bash Boyd. What was it? DMB. Let's see if I can find it. And listen, I know there's a push for violence, but they're not gonna. I don't think it's happening. Let me look up because someone did. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Proud Monkey DMB. So this was a post. Now I think this is. Listen, I get what they're saying, and so this is. Let's listen to this. This is Blue Water. Yeah, this was what was this? Our violinist is 6'4" Dutchman who can play circles around Boyd. This probably wasn't the best example. Blue Water, all this proves is that Blue Water is just a great song. This doesn't really showcase. Now, listen, I'm not saying he's not talented, but this was kind of a cheap shot at Boyd. He said, yeah, let's zoom in. Yeah, he could play circles around Boyd. They should hire him instead. Now, I'm sorry. Now, again, I don't know. This guy could be talented. They're not hiring some dude from a cover. And listen, there are some amazing Now, Zach Brown band's fiddle player is from a cover band. I think he was from a Dave cover band, but this was just a cheap shot at Boyd. I don't know. They have listen, and again, I have to look into them a little further. I'm not saying that he's not talented, but they're not pulling this. So I think this was just more of a plug for clout, right? I vote yes. DMB's by the closest cover band. Shout out, that's my boy Jack. Yeah, shout out to he's a friend of the show, UConn alum. Boldest claim I've ever heard. Yeah, we're gonna like that. Yeah, we're like that. My thing is this again. Why are you gonna take a shot? I understand the emotion of the violin, but sometimes this band needs a violin. And listen, I talk about what I like and don't like. I think I have some pretty strong takes, but it's like, guys, I understand the push, but it's like, listen, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They are gonna do what they are gonna do. And right now they're not, and I've heard the whole idea of a cover band. And again, there's some amazing. Listen, I know people in cover bands. I think John from Providence. Aren't you in a cover band? And then, I know DMB Project. Dave Bigler is amazing. He can literally just get Dave's points down to a T. And he has his other side band, Romp and Reason, him and Alex Sohan. They're amazing. But guys, it's one thing to play a couple cover band stuff. It's another thing to do 45 plus shows a year. In the humidity, right where this dude's playing right now, I'm sure it's easy to get that temperature control. When you're in West Palm Beach, Florida, and you have a wood instrument, and then you go from West Palm Beach to a couple weeks later, you're in Colorado, and you got to keep that violin in tune, and you got to be able to play that violin in the heat and the cold and the rain and the whatever. It's not easy. Now, there are people that could do it. I just think DMB's not going to hop on and put someone. And listen, I'm okay with that. The strings would open this thing up. It would get more fans to shows. Fans would be more enthusiastic to get the shows. A lot of people have walked away with the violin. To me, I will always say this: Leroy Moore, even though I never saw him live, but Leroy Moore passing away changed the dynamic of this band. Yes, they were going towards this rock sound, this Tim CDC, although they've turned down Tim. And I think he sounds great now compared to how turned up he was. I think Rashawn has made strides. They've toned him back here and there to balance out the sound. The band sounds better mix-wise than they did back in 2018. Even back in some of the 2010s and 2011, 2012s, Tim was so up in the mix. Rashawn was even worse in the high register than he is now. But I'm okay with the band being what it is. A violin would be great, even if they step in for 2 or 3 songs, but I don't see that. And I think overall, I don't want the momentum of this band to be stopped by a fiddle player, even if they're playing for 2 or 3 songs. I just think the vibes and the chemistry of this current setup is great. I mean, think about fantasy football or real football or real sports. You'll have some players combine up and the chemistry is just not there, even if there's talent. And I think, again, it doesn't take much to really have a violin impact a show. At the same time, the chemistry overall could be if there, 1 or 2 shows is for Ann is, listen, and Ann is a professional in this industry of performing with various bands and stepping in and learning material. That's the other thing. It is not easy for people just to hop in, learn the material, understand how to work, right? She worked with this band during the stand-up sessions. What is extremely underrated is how getting that chemistry right. But again, most fans won't care. Even if the chemistry is a little off, having that violin would be great. But I just think this was they're having fun. They're trying to promote their stuff. They got 75 followers. So, and listen, they sound great. This band sounds great, right? Sounds great, but I think they're trying to get some clout off the thing. They trying to get they doing, they say they do anything for clout. That's what the kids say. Yeah, so that is, but I just think, listen, the band's gonna do what they're gonna do. I think a show like tonight is why you don't care about the set. Forget the set list. Just say we got the fiddle, got the fiddle. So there you have it. Listen, I have to say, it has been wonderful this year. I'm overwhelmed with the support. I've had a lot of different milestones throughout this summer. Thank you guys for all the support. Not only the people watching live right now, but people who are watching the replay. People who I've met so many people this year at the concerts. From Granny Sam Jones, Debbie Ing, who's has a great big move. She just sold her house. Congratulations to Deb. And Mile High Dad, who was on Shane and his wife, Angie. I met them at Deer Creek and SPAC. The two Stephs, right? I've met so many people at Alpine, Deer Creek. So many people came up to me, positive reactions. People have talked to me. I've met people that run venues. I've met people. I met Ari last year from SiriusXM in person, but he came on the show this year. I am just overwhelmed with the support that this year has yielded. I am appreciative that people love watching this stuff, that are participating. I can't do this show without you guys. Anthony, Steph, Shane, Mark, who came on for so many of the shows after taping the shows, right? Just a countless list of people. Trish DMB, the corner of Gray Street folks even started following me and checking out some of my stuff. The podcast that Jane likes that Trish is a part of, right? Jeff and Michelle, Arizona, right? Ruthie, we love you, Ruthie. I'll see you this weekend. Sean out there in Long Island. Just so much support, guys, and it means the world to me. And that's just, to hit 1,000 people for a DMB stream and to do this. And, we had 2 or 3 people. And listen, I don't care if there'll be 1 or 2 people on the stream. And now for East Coast show, there'll be 15 people on talking live. And some of these things have gotten up to 1,000. I really appreciate you guys support. Matt Hughes coming on. Zach, the taper from Long Island as well, who's brought so much great insight. Countless other people. John Dix has always been that homie that got me connected last year, networking, introducing me people that have been following this band around, introducing me to Henry from the Almanac. There's countless people. I'm probably forgetting some people, but thank you guys for the support. It means the world to me to just, again, this thing has really taken off, to go to a show and, have these conversations with many of you guys that see the show and have your opinions. And this isn't an echo chamber. Now, I will shut down certain, y'all wild, but I enjoy hearing different perspectives. I've learned from many of you guys and your takes. I've rolled my eyes at some of your takes, but there's always truth to even some of the things that people say that I may not fully agree with. It is just great. And like I said, I want to keep this thing going. Hit the like button. That helps us get exposed. If you guys are going to shows for the fall tour, let me know. Let me know. We'll try to get you on. Again, this show is made by the guests. Yes, I wake up at weird parts. It's 4:24 in the morning. But it's the guest. If there's no guest, I can't talk about this show. I wasn't there. Right. So this is a show for the sorry. Oops. Let me get this queued up. All right. Anyway, listen, you guys, again, I'm speechless, even though I'm smooth with my monologues, but I'm speechless. Like, this has been great. And it's just been awesome to be able to, I feel part of the community by doing this. This is why I do this. This is why I shoot the videos, the Fool in the Rain video, right? That tour debut of Fool in the Rain, the Dreaming Tree, some of the pit. Oh yeah, I forgot about the pit. Being rail at Hartford was just a surreal experience. And to me, I loved being able to share that with you guys by video. Now, some people would say, oh, why are you taking video? Why don't you just enjoy the show? I did enjoy the show. And certain songs I didn't take video. A lot of that video, my phone was here and I'm looking up here. I'm just holding my phone like that. And I was at the rail. But there is joy. I'm going to try to bring Andy back on, because there is a joy that I find in sharing this content with you guys from the show. Listen, I've been to 41 shows. Many of you guys have been to 60, 70, 80. If you don't take a camera out one time, that's fine. That's how you decide. But I love the fact that, hey, if nobody else has video from this show, I want to get that video to Copperpot. Copperpot's going to get taper audio from the tapers, and we can give promotional videos to new fans, to old fans. People are in tears watching these videos, and that's why I do it. But again, I just appreciate the support. So many people that have been very supportive. Most importantly, and I'm gonna put her on blast. So you guys got to understand, I'm planning a wedding right now. I'm gonna get married this winter. I'm gonna there's a lot going on, and my fiance has been great because listen, I've had to leave. Now listen, we have our fun and we have date nights and stuff, right? But she has sacrificed a lot of time that we could have spent where I have to get back and do this stream. But she's my number one fan. She watches these streams. So Liv, if you're watching this, I love you. I appreciate you. By the way, there has been now listen, I'll just say this. We are the actual wedding. We're not asking for donations for the wedding. We're not asking for anything from anyone. The only reason I'm doing this is because people have been messaging me saying, hey, I heard you're getting married. We want to support, the homie Conserviz 34. So what I will do is I'm going to put up the Cash App. What we figured is, listen, we're going to be having a honeymoon next year at some point. So if you want to donate to the honeymoon, Cash App, Conserviz 34. Again, we're going regardless. We're not begging for money, but people have been asking me, how do you do? Can we put something in the gift registry? All right. This is my Cash App is $concert Viz 34. I just want to make sure that's right. Concert Viz 34. If you guys feel inclined to donate, fine. If not, that's fine too. We're not begging. I'm not on bended knees, right? I'm on bended knees. Donations, please. Right, that's a song, right? Here we go. Here, we'll get a quick. If I go on my honeymoon, oh, won't you please send some donations to me so we can go. 5 followers, please donate to the Cash App for me, so I can take my fiance on a honeymoon for 3 days in an all-inclusive resort. I'm on bended knee. Wait. I'm on bended knee. Donations, please. Hit the Cash App. No, I'm kidding. No, we don't expect anything. I just want to do that. I want some donations, please. Joe Biden, please. Yeah. Pay for my honeymoon. I need some money. We're broke. We don't have no money. Even though I go on the show. Yeah. All right. Let me stop. All right. No, but for if you guys want to donate, it's on there. Also, I did have this little video. Let me see if we can get it right. I need to mute it because the music in this video, I don't want it to be copyright. But what we'll do is I'll play this video. You guys can see what happened, how your boy, just a little montage here. And again, this is, all right, let's see. All right, we'll start it here. All right, so real quick, I'm gonna just play this little video so you guys can see how it all went down back a couple months ago. But again, I cannot thank my fiance enough. I love you, future Mrs. Conserviz 34 here. So let's just play this quick little video and we will, let's see.
Out of the corner of my eye, caught you walk by. I chase you down. Is it okay if I call you mine? From here on out, as if I could ever stop. You are light as a butterfly, as heavy as a rock. Bottom and the top. Is it okay if I call you mine? From here on out, as if I could ever stop. And now I'm open.
Hold on. Yeah, I had to get that ring resized, so it was a little too big. So that's why it looks a little weird there. But anyway, we got it resized. It's all good now. All right, continue.
I'm strong, I'm wild, like a storm out the stars in my blood. And it's all because of you, my love. Is it okay if I call you mine? From here on out, as if I could ever stop. When you laugh, it's like a light that fill me up. Cause you are my love. It's like when I fell into your eyes, I could not get out, and I could not get enough. Is it okay if I call you mine? From here on out, as if I could ever stop. But when I'm all used up, old and breaking apart, like a storm out the stars in my blood, all because of you, you are my love. Is it okay if I call you mine? From here on out, as if I could ever stop. And I want you to know I still need you so. I want you to know I still need you so. Is it okay if I call you mine? From here on out, as if I could ever stop.
All right, yeah. So like I said, if you want to do it, like I said, we don't. It's just people are asking me, even people that like we're having a small wedding, people even that know they may not be able to make it. They're like, hey, we want to still contribute. I'm overwhelmed with this stuff. I thought, listen, I was paying for this myself, but the wedding is paid. This is not for. I just want to make that clear. This is not for the wedding. I don't believe in having anyone outside of family that decides to come forward to help outside of family. If they want to do something or contribute to the wedding, that's on that. I don't believe in that. Hey, I can't afford this. What? Nah, that the wedding is paid for. This is just for honeymoon, for us to have a little bit more fun for that trip that's going to be coming up next year. That's still to be determined. But yeah, if you guys want to donate, there it is. But again, thank you guys for the support overall, like I said, of everything. But again, I had to shout out my fiance because when your girl, and this is for the fellas who are not married, when your lady, your woman, your whatever you call it, when they support your hobbies, right? You know how many people could say, man, why is he on this stream, not making money, doing this stuff at 4 a.m? This is my passion, right? I don't let it interfere with my work and all this because listen, I'm gonna be ready for work. I took a couple naps today after work to be ready, but this is what I love to do. And when you like, how do you explain to somebody that you're gonna go across the country to see Dave Matthews Band, right? Not every person's gonna support that, right? Not every person's gonna be like, oh yeah, how you gonna do that? And that's why my fiance, that's why I'm marrying her. She supports me when really what I'm doing is not in many ways rational to be up in the middle of the night streaming. But this is my dream. It doesn't matter. It's not about the cloud. It's about the enjoyment of this. So again, I had to give her a little shout out. Don't cry during this, Liv. When you watch this, don't cry. Nah, I'm kidding. But no, she's been a real one, and she trusts me. And listen, I'm out going to Deer Creek and Alpine and SPAC and all this stuff. And hopefully the plan is she's going to be coming out to some shows next year, at least one show. We're going to work on that there. And I don't share much of that just because, listen, that's listen, y'all want to be mad at me, but I try to keep out the other stuff. So anyway, had to do that quick. Let's see. We're going to close out with my favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite song. It's the song that pulls at me emotionally the most and gets me just the most pumped up as of recent, which is What You Are with the Strings. We're gonna close out with this. Again, this has been a great summer. I'm not leaving. Okay, this is not the end of the year. Expect a stream for Farm Aid right after Farm Aid. So like right after Dave and Tim perform, I'm coming on because the next day I got to go on Sound. So you'll have a stream Saturday right after they come on. Right after they come off. So if they're on at like 9 o'clock or whenever, I can't remember when they are coming on again. I have to check the schedule. But the next stream is going to be after Farm Aid. Okay. So just be on the lookout for that. And I will be at Sound on Sunday. And after I get back, it may be a couple hours after, but when I get back to the crib, I will then talk about Sound on Sound, specifically Dave and Tim. And that'll be, I don't know how long that stream will be because I'll be there all day and then maybe crazy. So thank you guys again. I know I'm just saying that enough, but listen, this has been a very, very great, successful summer to push this format forward and really get the pulse of I feel like I have a better pulse of the fan base in various, from the hardcore to the first time to the couple years in. I feel like I have a really great pulse of the fan base that I can take possibly that for people who are willing to share. And so, yeah, let me stop talking. It's almost a 3-hour stream. We're going to close out with this What You Are, and that'll be the show. What You Are from Hollywood Bowl Night 1 with the strings. Thank you guys. Peace.